G'day guys, what's going on? Super Bro here. Welcome to the channel. Today I'll be going over my round 18 review. I scored 2,270, which wasn't the greatest, but we had a pretty good weekend, so that's good. You know, started off with the Cats winning on Friday night, so I was pretty stoked about that. And then on Saturday we had the Slack catch up for Dr. SuperCoach, so shout out to those guys because they're absolute legends of the game. Got to meet like JB and Pistol, Pig Mentality and Chizo, you know, all the OGs of the game, which is awesome. Ripper blokes. And then, yeah, ran into DR as well. So that was pretty awesome. He's such a great bloke. So, yeah, great to meet him. Just, you know, exchanging information, seeing if he can give me any tips on the game because he's doing so well, which is great to see. And yeah, we had a look at his side and saw that he had the VC on Sarong into Jackson, so that was pretty funny. Not for him though, he wasn't too happy about that. But yeah, Jackson seemed to score higher than my captain this week, so I was a bit salty. Could have scored a bit higher, but yeah, not the greatest week from me. But yeah, overall a really good catch up. You know, got to meet some other people like the commissioner, who's a really good super coacher as well. He's had some high finishes in the past, so yeah, great to learn knowledge from these guys who are good at the game. So yeah, and have a few cold ones and, you know, enjoy the vibe. So yeah, it was good to meet some new people. But yeah, anyway, I went down in the ranks, which is a bit frustrating. 181 spots. So yeah, a bit of a down week for me. Thought I could do a bit better, but yeah, I've got a few spuds in the team. So what can we do about that? Sitting at season rank of 1,021, so dropped out of the top 1K, which is stiff. So hopefully we can get back in there. Had a few injuries, so you know, most people had a few injuries this week. So I had McGovern and, you know, obviously Heaney didn't play as well. So that's no good. And we had Gawn on the bench there. So, you know, we did have a bit of a blessing in disguise with McGovern being out. We traded in Humphreys and he's just been the absolute Hail Mary for us. You know, he got the 108. So McGovern would probably be lucky to score that if he was playing. So pretty happy with that. But yeah, in defence, Sheasel with the 75, bit of a disappointing one from him. We were watching that game, so that was pretty interesting. I mean, it wasn't really interesting. We kind of just chucked on the other game, I think it was, because it was pretty boring. They were just getting pumped by the Swans. So yeah, not the greatest stuff there. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Everyone kind of expected that result. And yeah, I don't really know what happened to Sheasel. I was kind of just talking to everyone. So yeah, talking to some blokes, which was good. And then Dacos with an 89. You know, I think he got a bit of attention. There was a bit of, you know, controversy around Jeremy Cameron just sling tackling him. If it was a sling tackle, I'm not too sure. But that was interesting. And then Whitfield got 113, so that was pretty good. Just trying to remember the bloody results. I think Whitfield was in for a big one actually at 3/4 time, but then he kind of dropped off a bit, so that's a bit disappointing. But yeah, he's going back up in price. I think he's still a bit of a pod, so hopefully he can keep going well. 16% of teams now, so not too bad. And then Ryan's just been pretty crap, like in the last couple of weeks. Same with Sarong, you know, they've just both been disappointing. But, you know, Freo did lose. That was a pretty funny game to watch as well, being like a Geelong supporter. You know, me and DR are saying, like, it's good for us, you know, our teams are going to go higher up the ladder. So that was pretty funny that happened for us. But, yeah, no good. And then McGovern, hopefully he can come back. I was talking to one of the guys, I forgot his name, sorry mate. But yeah, legend bloke from West Coast supporter, which is unlucky, but you know, they're still pretty good teams to support in the past, so you can't be too mad about that. But you know, he said he wasn't too sure if McGovern was going to play next week, which, you know, is a bit of concern for me. Hopefully he does play, but yeah, he was saying, you know, it's unlikely that they'll fly him over to Melbourne, sorry. Fly him over to Melbourne because he's got the Saints this week, is it? Yeah. I'll just get the right list up. Yeah, so Got the Saints at Marvel. I think he'll come back though. I'll wait and see on the reports. I think he should be able to come back. Because I was listening to a podcast. I think Will Schofield or someone does it. He seems like he's pretty eager to get back now. The coach isn't there, so they need the leadership from McGovern. So hopefully he comes back. But if not, we still have Humphries. So hopefully he can back up 100 at least against the Doggies, which will be an interesting game at GMHBA this weekend. But yeah, hopefully we're pretty happy with Humphries. He's done well for us. Couldn't really do much wrong for us this week anyway. And then Houston got a 114, so he got downscaled a bit, I think, dropped off. He's quite cheap at the moment though. If we're looking to get like a 23rd player, maybe you grab Houston. Got the high ceiling, so against the Tigers this week, I wonder how he goes. Could be a good option. History not showing the greatest pass scores there, but that's all right. I think he could be a good option against the Tigers. Just depends, really. I'll have to go through the stats and double check how the other defenders have been scoring against Richmond. Well, Whitfield just actually versed them, so, didn't do too great, but you'll take that. Pretty good score from him. Bont was a bit of a slump game. Still played pretty good. Bloody have to get the rounds up, can't remember. Had Carlton, so that was a bit of a funny one there. A bit of an upset, I think. But yeah, credit to the Dogs. They've been playing great footy. So interesting to see how Bont will finish off the season. He could go nuts against us this week, to be fair though. Surely he cops a bit of attention. But yeah, in Geelong. So interesting to see. Could be a good captain or VC option. Just probably leaning more towards like captain at that point, but we'll have to double check at the end of the video about our captains and VC options. And then Butters. So we kind of a low scoring week for us. We didn't have too many people go over like 120 for us, which was a bit of a shame. I think he was the highest scorer for me. So that's just showing like not the greatest signs. Like hopefully some of these guys can really bounce back. We had the VC on Merrett 82, which was a bit of a surprise. Not sure how that happened. I thought they lost, didn't they? Yeah. Need to double check the rounds, a bit of a surprise that Melbourne got up there. Merrett was looking like, he was due for another 140, but just not the game we would have expected from the Dons. So the D's really surprised me there. Bit of a surprise they actually got the job done, but Merrett looked like he was in for a big one with his past history, but you can't always go off that stuff, hey. That's just a case for us to have a look at and be like, maybe we shouldn't always just do that. But, it is what it is. It's a bit of luck as well at the end of the day. And then Walsh, 95 there, so would have thought he would have been in for a big one, considering like the week before that, Butters and Rosie went nuts against the Bulldogs, but he just hasn't been as good as of such like the last couple of weeks. He does have North Melbourne this week. Could cop a tag actually from Shields or who's the other guy? I bloody forgot. Is it a young bloke? I can't remember who it is now. I forgot who the other guy is. Tom Green, 93. He's just a bit of a frustrating own. Like, what are we going to do with him? Can't really do too much, with Gawn out. So maybe we trade Gawn. Probably won't do that though. Sarong, 99. Still, he's dropped a fair bit in price, which is annoying. But surely he comes good, like, by the time he plays West Coast. Finals are coming up. So if you're in leagues, I think they start round 20. I'm pretty sure that's when the finals start. And then Steele, we traded in, I forgot to go over my trades at the start of the video actually, but what happened was I had like Will Parker, I think, in the defence, and I needed cover for McGovern, so I traded him to Humphries, which, worked out to be bloody Hail Mary there, so that was great. And then in the forward line, we had Sam Day, but he was going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, I think, with a injury. So I traded in, Filippo. So that's all or nothing move there. So some of the other guys like George and Abs Magic were doing it. So I thought that'd be a good idea as well. With the pass score, the pass score that he had was like 112. So yeah, that was a pretty good score. I think I was convinced, even with the VFL numbers on DFS, I was having a look at that. He was in pretty consistent form as well. So, and it looks like he's getting the mid-minutes now, which is good. And then we swung Dowling into the forward line, so for Heaney. So it worked out to be pretty lucky in the end, actually. Still copping 100s, but not really going up in the ranks. It's just the other players that were letting me down. So like Rao in the midfield, 65, which is just a disgrace. I think that's like his equal lowest score of the season. So yeah, that's his second 65. Surely he can't go any worse next week. I just don't know what I can do with him. I don't think I can get rid of him at this point, just because there's no one else that I would even consider bringing into the side for him. Having 3 trades, is a bit of another interesting case, because then I'd have to trade out another guy and they'll leave me with 1 trade left. So maybe I'll have to give it a bit of thought come Thursday night when the team sheets are out. And then on the bench, Rebel was a sub, so that's cooked his cash gen. We could consider trading out him and Rao this week if we wanted to. But yeah, I don't know. He's just like I've held him for a couple of weeks now. Like I might as well just keep holding on to him. There's still a fair few rounds left in the season, so there could be some other injuries that pop up. I think I'm just better off holding him at this point. And then Clark got 61. So, I'm pretty surprised that he stayed in the side, actually. I think someone was a late out. I'm not too sure about that. But, yeah, we had the Nank as the captain, so 107. Pretty disappointed in that score because, I thought he would have gone huge against Briggs. But, yeah, Briggs seemed to be a bit of a harder matchup in the coming weeks. Like 107 is not too bad. For this week in my team anyway. Like there's a couple of players that really have let me down this week. I only had 2 players in the midfield go over 100, which is just ridiculous. Like what the actual hell is going on with the midfielders? Really annoying. Should have been going up, but in the ranks, but it was a bit hard to for me. And then Jackson, he actually played pretty well. So watching that game live with the other lads, so he was on like 116 at 3/4 time. So yeah, DR was having a laugh about that. He's actually made it work out. So then he did nothing for the last quarter. So that's a bloody stitch up for him. But yeah, 116, I'll take that for my rucks. Not a bad score, especially when like other players like English is scoring 85, which some people might have traded Gorn to. So you'd be pretty furious about that if you traded in English. But I think he's got a good matchup this week against the Cats, my team. So yeah, he'll probably go pretty crazy. You'd probably put the VC or C on him actually if you have him over the Bont, I'd imagine. But yeah, Bont might be in for a massive one as well. He's got the history there, so he does play pretty good at GMHBA Stadium. Flanders 106, which is Mr. Consistent, doesn't drop below 100. Who's he got? GWS this week, so that'll be an interesting one. I wonder how Matt Real actually does go this week, because I think Buckley's going to be out for about 3 weeks, so maybe he won't cop any attention. But he just seems to be bloody cooked, just can't run out the rest of the season. I'm just praying that he can score 100 at least. If I do hold on to him, he's just had the worst bloody last couple of rounds. It's just embarrassing that I own him. I should have traded him. But yeah, hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? Caldwell has been great. So yeah, he's nearly at 600k, which is ridiculous. Playing in like career best form. So great to see him killing it. 110, awesome stuff. Zorko was a bit average, bit of a underperforming week from most of my players, which is frustrating. he's got some good scores against Sydney, so hopefully he can come out and score well for us this week. I think it was because it was a bit of a close game though against West Coast, so I'm not too sure about the scoring, what happened there. And then Moore was a bit of a letdown. A bit surprising, he only scored 71. I think he had a really good start to the first quarter and then just dropped off after that. I think he was on about 30 within like 10 minutes or something, and then, finished with 71, so that's a shame. And yeah, Filippo's been great. Great inclusion in the side. Worst case scenario, should be a good 23rd player in the forward line, so hopefully that works out for me. Bit of an all or nothing pick. But yeah, should be a bit of cover if you don't have him. I think, you could probably bring him in for like a Kruger or someone like that. If you wanted to have a bit of cover, it's probably worth it in my opinion. But we should have a look at DFS just real quick. See how he's going, how many CBAs he's getting. Yeah, so he's getting a fair few at the moment, so not too bad there. So yeah, that's looking pretty promising now. So yeah, I think if you wanted to grab him, I don't think it's too late, especially if you probably wouldn't get him if you had like less than 3 trades. That's probably too risky. But yeah, it's just a matter of what you're playing for. Are you playing for rank? Do you need to play for league? Like, are you going to make the top 8 or the top 5? Depending on how many points you have, maybe you want to use all your trades just to make sure you make, the top 8 in if you're in your league or whatever it is. So I think that's not a bad shout. But yeah, it just really depends on what you're playing for. But yeah, if you have like 3 or more trades, I'd say it's worth it to bring in Filippo as a cover pick. But Dowling's another case here. He's got 101, so just all these guys that are covering my injured players just going nuts. So that's great to see. He's been pretty good for a rookie, so great that it's awesome to have him in the side there. So yeah, we can fix up the side now. We can bring Heaney back, so it'll be good to see him come back. Devastated that he can't win the Brownlow. Hopefully he doesn't actually win it for his sake. But yeah, it's just a shame to see him be ineligible for the Brownlow, so that sucks. He's just one of the greatest players in the modern era at the moment. Well, I mean, that's probably a bit overkill, but yeah, I really enjoy watching him play. He's one of my favourites. And yeah, so Gawn, I'm a bit concerned about Gawn, to be honest. The coach was saying there's no time frame on him, so that's a bit of a concern. But then in the media, they were also saying that he's taken off the moon boot, I think it was, so trying to get some running into him. So interesting, not too sure about the 2 to 3 weeks, probably be a bit longer than that. So it's a bit of a concern. Maybe we trade him out. Probably not the greatest move because we'll probably want him back in our sides come the end of the season. So as long as I've got like Jackson there, I think I might just ride it off. And Filippo should be good enough cover. So I think that's a fair shout. If you wanted to hold on to Gawn as well, maybe you do something similar. But yeah, at this point, we're better off fielding bloody Dowling than Rao. But we probably won't do that. We'll probably just do a loophole if we can. But we don't really have any loops going here. So just depends on the team sheets, really. See if Clark or Revel get named. Dowling should stay in the side, guaranteed, obviously. And then, yeah, we don't really have too much cover in the forward line, which is a bit of a concern. Filippo will be the cover when Gawn comes back. We just hope he comes back sooner rather than later. But, yeah, if I was probably going to do a trade, what would it be? Probably trade out, if I did want to get rid of Gawn, maybe I do that. And that would leave me options so I could, swing Dowling into the forward line. Hopefully that would be pretty good though, running a loop between Filippo and Dowling, which would be nice. But the only concern is Jackson being the number 1 ruckman. So I think Darcy should be back. I think it was a concussion, I believe. But yeah, I'd have to double check, and that means I could just grab anyone that. Oh, actually, I couldn't grab Couldn't even grab Neil. That's actually devastating. But yeah, he's been in unbelievable form. You know, he could actually win his third bloody Brownlow, which would be nuts for an older man. But you know, he's good. So yeah, I'd love to see that. It's just frustrating that I don't own him. I probably should have got on him a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, look at these matchups. He's got some massive scores in the past there. So surely, what's his name? James Jordan's going to tag Neil hard against Sydney. Well, I'll probably be praying for that to happen as a non-owner. And then yeah, Gold Coast coming up, which is be an interesting one. Not too sure how it'll go. Like if I did this, I'm not really sure. Do I grab Dunkley? I was pretty high on Dunkley the other week. So, you know, he's probably the one that wouldn't get tagged. Yeah, there's a few tags that could come in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, I think Buckley would be back in that case with GWS. I think he got 3 weeks, so wait and see. So, yeah, Dunkley's probably the guy I'd grab there. Oh, wait, I couldn't even do that, eh? Oh, that's Neil. I was like, hang on a second. What have I done here? Oh, it's all glitched. Yeah, so I could grab Dunkley and then just have like Rowell on the bench, which probably doesn't really add up for me. It probably isn't the greatest call. Probably should just hold on to Gawn. But yeah, I could grab, you know, if it was me, I'd probably grab like Dunkley, then Cripps. I mean, Cripps, I'm hoping he wins a Brownlow, but, you know, we probably want someone else to win the Brownlow like Dacos, but Cripps against North will be a good matchup. I doubt he'll get the attention. It'll probably be Walsh. LDU's another guy I probably should have grabbed like when he was really cheap, but hard to predict these things. He's got actually a pretty good fixture coming up. Yeah, he's got a blessed fixture, so probably one of the easiest fixtures for the midfielders. So he could be a guy that I could grab if I wanted to try and go back up the ranks, which I would like to do, but it's just I'm not really sure if I should trade out Gawn or not. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. It's a bit of a big call to end the season, especially having Jackson at R2, not the greatest idea. So I think I'll just go with my gut and just hold on to Gawn. Otherwise, you know, I could trade out Rowell and Revel. That leaves me about 800k. What do I do with that? Dunkley, I could probably grab Neil actually, eh? Yeah, I could grab Neil. That's just ultimate paying up for though. I probably feel a bit uncomfortable trading in a player. So expensive. I've never done that before, so probably wouldn't do that. And then yeah, that's got 125k. Like, is there anyone I can actually grab there? Maybe I'll just grab a loophole, which is probably the smarter thing to do there. But I don't really need to loop in the midfield. But yeah, it's like I could trade out Gawn, you know, get Dunkley in that way, and use one trade, or I could do this and you know, still have Gawn, and then but I'm using 2 trades, so it's probably not worth it. Probably just better off holding at this point. But yeah, what if I trade out? If I trade out Gawn, could grab like a Grundy or a English type, even Marshall. Yeah, so there's a few ruck options I could probably grab here. But yeah, some of them have gone up a fair bit. Like De Koning actually can't grab him, so that's a bit of a stitch up. But yeah, it's a bit of a, hey, how you going situation. I kind of have to wait until the team sheets before I make my mind up. If I was going to trade out anyone, I wonder what's happened to Wits actually. So Moyle, I think, did pretty well. Just have a look, hey, real quick. Oh, I'm not really used to this layout actually. Injury list, there it is. Oh, I didn't notice that. Taranto, no good. Who was I looking at? Wits. How long's he out for? Test back. So yeah, he could come back. I was kind of talking about Witts a bit earlier in the season. Like, I didn't mind him at all as a pick. Got Briggs this week. Hasn't been the greatest matchup there. With Nanko only going 107. Could do it if I wanted to have a bit of a pod. Leaves me 100k. What if I did this? It would be a bit nuts, eh? A bit of a bold play, eh? But yeah, he's massively injury prone. Sorry, I can't bloody speak at this hour. But yeah, that means I wouldn't be putting Phillippo on the field. Could do like a loop with him, with Dawson there. I don't know, that's a bit crazy, but then I'm still fielding Rao. I don't really like that either. I could have a look and see. I don't know, it's just a bit frustrating here that, we've still got bloody Rao on the field. It's his break even, 118. Like, in a ideal world, he'll make that. Like, he should be able to make it, but he's just been in shocking form. So I think I'll just do no changes, probably go another week, see what the update on Gawn is. And yeah, I think that's what I'll do. It's just really frustrating to own Rao at the moment. Most people that would have him would be just straight trading him out at the moment, with all the rage around him. So that's really frustrating. But yeah, we'll have a look at the C and VC options. Merrett, he's got great scores there. It's at Marvel, so I think that's a pretty safe one. Surely he can bounce back. Don't think anyone will tag him, really. Then we got Tom Green. Is he going to bounce back? Potentially. It is at is it Energy? I don't know what it's called, the GWS Stadium. So yeah, he could go pretty big. He's got that big score there, but that's a couple of years ago now. So not really sure if I can trust Green there. Who else is looking good? How does Flanders go against them? Not too bad. Probably wouldn't though. Yeah, Houston only got 114. That doesn't really matter, eh? It's Whitfield. Not really sure. He's got the 133 in there. Probably wouldn't look to do that. St Kilda, hopefully Steele can come out and go nuts against West Coast. He's just been pretty inconsistent recently. He's kind of dropped off since the start of the year. He looked really good. Just one of those guys that we've been holding all year, so it's a bit of a frustrating own as well. Sarong against Melbourne for a C option maybe. But yeah, do you trust it? I don't know if anyone's tagging at Melbourne or not. Have to double check that on Thursday. I'll probably have to make another video on Thursday night just to go over the side, see if there's any changes. If not, worst case, I'll probably just leave a comment in my video or something about if I do a late trade or something like that. But yeah, I'll have to get around X as well, start making an account there and let you guys know about updates and stuff as well. But yeah, kind of dragging this out a bit too long, hey. But yeah, at the moment, probably looking at if you have English, I think he's a pretty clear captain option against De Koning. Maybe they bring in Stanley or someone like that against English. They'll probably do that if they actually want to limit his scoring. Otherwise, even Bont might go pretty big. But as a Geelong supporter, I feel like he might get tagged or get some attention at least. Maybe like a Bose or someone, I don't know, might go to him. But yeah, he hasn't been heavily tagging him. I think Atkins was the guy who was doing the tagging on Dacos. So maybe he goes to Bont, but don't know how he'll match up there. Bit of a shorter player, so probably not ideal. Maybe they bring in a O'Connor or someone to go to Bont. But yeah, Bont's just in great form, so probably won't do much about that. So he's probably a good shout. So either Bont or English. I feel like I'll probably go with the VC on Merrett for the moment. And then the C, who do we put the C on? What, another C on Nank? Probably not. Should go right, though, against Port, I would imagine. Who else have we got here? Like, if Jackson's not back, if Darcy's not back, sorry, guys, probably do a risky C on Jackson. But not too risky because I think Petty's in the ruck, so you'd be pretty safe with that one. But yeah, there's not really too many other guys here that are like screaming out the C option for me and my side anyway. Zorko seems to have decent enough history, but probably not worth a C option. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling, so I'll probably just go the C on Bont. But yeah, that might change depending on like the team sheets, like to see who's named. But I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. Most people probably have the same C and VC options this week. Hopefully McGovern can come back into the side. So yeah, I think Saints were like one of the easiest, weren't they, to score against in defence, but don't know how that's changed over the last couple of weeks with the new stats and stuff for SuperCoach. But yeah, I think that's about it. Might just have a real quick look and see the players. Just been rambling on. I'm not really too sure about what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to hold at this point in the year. Just wait another week. Hopefully there's no more injuries. But yeah, it'll just be a wait and see about like the updated injury list tomorrow night with Gawn, see how he's going. Otherwise we might have to get rid of him. But still owning Real is a bit of a frustration there. But I'll just quickly have a look at players ranked in the top 1%, like in terms of top 1,000, or top 1% of ownership here. Just have a look at the rucks. So yeah, I don't mind English. Don't think he has too bad of a fixture coming up. Marshall is a maybe for me, probably not. But yeah, so yeah, I could go massive pod here if I wanted to trade out Gawn. Have I gone past him or something? Yeah, so currently no one in the top 1% owns Wits. It could be a very risky play. I already have Nankervis, who's been a bit of a risky play as well. Kind of worked out for me, but not too sure about Wits. He's a bit injury prone. He can score well sometimes. He hasn't had the greatest form at the moment though, so pretty average season from him. I probably won't go there, but interesting to think about if I wanted to go for a massive pod. But yeah, that in that sense, I'd have to do like the loop with Filippo and Jackson. So that's probably not ideal, especially like with Real. Real is the massive issue on my side. I keep talking about him. Probably should just get rid of him at this point. But yeah, it's just bloody frustrating owning him. But I think I'll just have to hold him for another week, which is annoying. But yeah, this is how I'll line up this week. I think I've got most of the players back on the field. We've got Humphries as cover if McGovern doesn't pull through. But I'm really hoping that he pulls through. I think he should. So he's been great anyway. But yeah, that's the side. Hopefully Jackson can play a bit more ruck anyway. With Darcy being injured or out. But yeah, that's probably how I'll line up this week. But yeah, I've been dragging the video on a bit too long. Hopefully we can get DR on the channel and talk about, finals matchups and like grand finals and stuff, strategies around that. So that'd be pretty sick. If we could get the great man onto the channel. If you guys aren't already following him, make sure you go and give him a subscribe. Follow him on Twitter and all that. He's just an absolute ripper of a bloke. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.